Can you send a flare by pressing H? Then I will find you.
Send a flare? What?
Okay.
Yo, I
can
just
see
found
you.
that out.
What?
Yeah, I can see you guys.
That's crazy.
Welcome to Pokestarter Gaming, the future of blockchain gaming, where we empower real players to play and earn with weekly content by gamers for gamers. Today, we caught up on some big time alpha with none other than the Big Time Studios team themselves, who joined in answering some of our questions as we dived into more action-packed dungeons across time and space. Let us know if you still have any unanswered big time questions in the comments below.
If you come here
Okay.
and interact with this timer trainer just once, so
Yeah.
that you got one pocket watch. And then if you open your inventory again,
Ooh. Time
And
Warrior Starter
you-
Pocket Watch.
yes, you got one pocket watch. And then if you go to timeline,
Yeah.
yes, and then you change pocket watch into time warrior, and then you go to inventory again.
Oh, so this is how you change classes.
And
Oh
then
my god.
anything item with just right click.
Oh, just right click. Yeah, I discovered that
Yeah,
the
just
hard
right
way.
click. Yes.
The way it works is there's certain types of users who will be able to collect the token. And those are going to be not all users, but users who have equipment that allows us. And that equipment comes out of space. And we call that presently the hourglass. And those users are able to collect the token. The token only comes from within the game. And the token is the key ingredient in all aspects of the economy, including the crafting and forging of all of the, let's call them the utility NFTs. So here's something that's pretty novel about Big Time. And I think it's novel for now, but I do think this is where the industry is going to land. But effectively, there's going to be a very large, so what's unique about Big Time is there's going to be a very large user base of people who just play for free, or they just play the game and they're not really involved in the space economy. They really like the game, and you know what? They want to have a really cool shield or a really cool armor. And they don't know what Ethereum is, they don't know what Bitcoin is, but they know what a credit card is. And they want to swipe that credit card and they want to buy that shield. They want to buy that helmet, right? So there's going to be a lot more of that than there are going to be guys like you who may own space and are, running a guild or, have people working with them. So you can think of it like this: as the space community or the guild community or the scholar community, they're basically servicing the purchasing or the demand from the regular user base. And to do that, they have to collect the tokens that then allows them to forge and create all the other stuff in the game. Does that make sense?
Like the minerals and stuff also change based on the environment. Is that so? Or is it because we're in a higher level environment, the resources are higher level?
The mineral will be used to make or forge our NFTs in the future. If we utilize space, then you can use that minerals with token, and then you can upgrade your NFT into higher level.
It's a more guild specific question then for us as a community is, so let's say we've got whatever 50 to 100 players in here just playing. Can we give them access to our spaces to forge items and things like that, or how does that work? Like, can you share spaces, or do you need one space per player or whatever? I'm assuming you don't because you have large spaces and things like that.
So the granularity of the permissioning we haven't quite figured out, but what we can tell you is we have a pretty compelling rental model that we'll be coming out with. And there's a lot of details, but that's the big one that everyone's really asking for.
Okay.
But we do understand what guild play looks like, and we do understand the necessity to support it. We want to be very careful in terms of how we give what we can say officially. What we can tell you is we do everything by the books. Everything is looked through from a legal and accounting lens, and we feel like we have a very good means to implement it. And we will give out information as soon as we can, but trust me when I tell you this, we're not going to launch a game and put you guys in a position where you guys can't do what you should be able to do.
Nice. Okay, cool. Makes sense. Michael, what about you? What excites you the most?
I always take a macro perspective. I've been doing this whole internet entrepreneur thing since the early days of MySpace, and I've been in many moments in time on the internet working on things where I couldn't really appreciate the timing of things. So I think what I'm really excited about is just the timing of this right now, because this is a real, and I'm not speaking specifically about Big Time, but just the industry as a whole. But this is such a big shift, right? Games used to be, $50, then they were free. Logically speaking, the only place for them to go to next would be a world where the players are getting something back, right? And last year, about $196 billion was spent in games. It's the biggest form of entertainment. It's bigger than sports, bigger than movies, bigger than TV. So we're I remember being early in mobile. I don't know, do you guys remember Angry Birds?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that reminds me a little bit of Axie. It was super exciting. It wasn't the most fun thing in the world, but it was like, haha, someone did it, right? But the mobile game company that really got the model down first, it was Candy Crush. It wasn't for like 2.5 years later. So I think what excites me most right now is just kind of being just sort of at this point in time in the industry. And what scares me is just how much work there's to do. It's going to be a very busy 3 years.
But I guess what's the ideal scenario for you long term? Because I always tell people that in the future, I don't think it's going to be like Web3 games and Web2 games. It's just going to be games. And then all games will have like blockchain integration. So whether that's like NFTs for ownership, whether that's crypto tokens for earning or whatever, I just think it's going to be an integral part of every game. Honestly, it'll take some time for some players. Like maybe Epic Games doesn't hop in right away. Maybe Riot doesn't do anything for the next couple of years. But it just sounds like such a logical thing to do in terms of a shift. But what do you think? Like, do you think it's still going to be that same stigma around Web3 games and how some of the traditional like publishing studios are viewing it as like a negative thing for the industry rather than a positive thing?
I don't know that Web 2 games in its current iteration are sustainable. I really don't believe that's true anymore. And the reason, what's a good way of explaining this? It's an old medium, right? I mean, think about how Web 2 games work, right? Basically, first of all, they require these massive advertising budgets. I've deployed at a time at a prior company $600 million in user acquisition. So you have to deploy these massive advertising budgets. The users don't get anything back. They don't really own the stuff they have in the game. And the new model that you're seeing with Big Time, and you can't see much of the economy yet. Really, you can't see any of the economy just yet. But really, what you're going to see with Big Time and the other games is you're going to see a model where the players are going to own much more of the economy, and that becomes the single best form of advertisement, right? So, I do think, just from an efficiency standpoint, I don't know. I think of it as like Web 2 games are kind of like cable news, and Web 3 is like YouTube. It just has like an asymmetric cost and marketing advantage.
Did I get an NFT? Is it my lucky day? Yes, I got one. Nice.
You're never. Oh, you got
Shut
it.
up, shut up.
There you go.
Shut up, you hater.
BS.
I'm such a hater. See? I mean, there's so many different ways that this space could go.
Oh, by the way, Young, I do have a question that is burning a hole in Sandbox's mind. Are we gonna be able to swim?
Oh no.
You're
no.
such a troll.
You cannot sleep.